Welcome, welcome, welcome. I believe we are live on Facebook. Welcome, everyone. See, it's such a habit to move. Sometimes it's not the easiest to put this hand. I have to figure it out sometimes.
Their baby.
Welcome back, everyone. Thank you for joining us on another amazing issue of Caribbean Diaspora Vibes. We are coming to you tonight with a very important topic. All of our topics have been so amazing, so informative, and we get lots of wonderful feedback on what we talk about tonight. As we wait for Louis, actually not sure if Louis with Caribbean Rhythms Radio Network is jumping on, but we're gonna say welcome to Dr. Arlene Adams.
Thank you.
Welcome, welcome. And then, of course, we have Reverend Dr. Stacey and Beckles in the house. We're
Thank you.
we love hearing from her. We love getting to catch up, whatever, catching up with her to tell us what's happening in her life and the amazing journey that she's on. So we are grateful for that. So welcome everyone. My name is Donna Morton, and I'm the president of Caribbean American Diaspora, president of Women of Culture, Inc., and real estate broker, mindset coach. Tonight, we are going to talk about life after domestic violence. It is possible we can fall down and get back up, and sometimes, in many occasions, use that pain as a purpose. And this woman of God is a true example of that. So, welcome, Reverend Dr. Stacey and Beckles. Tell us a little bit, for those who have not heard, a little bit of your story and then how you've been overcoming.
Oh, thank you so much for having me, Donna and Doc. I thank you for having me also. I'm sorry, Brother Louis is not here. He's one of my biggest cheerleaders, supporters. But I
Yeah.
thank God for our listening viewers via the World Wide Web on every platform. Such an honor to be here in such a time as this. And for those who don't know, and for those who know, most of the time I'm here discussing the journey. It's a journey. And as we celebrate Domestic Violence Month, along with breast cancer, and mental health, and so many different things in the month of October,
Mhm.
when you speak about domestic violence, and I'll just jump ahead and I'll get back to the beginning. We're speaking a little bit about everything. We're speaking about mental health. We're speaking about physical health. We're speaking about spirituality, your health, what's happening, your diet, even food wise, everything. We're dealing with so much when we speak about domestic violence. So for me, domestic violence, some may say, may not have been a lot, but one slap is one slap too much. One cough is one cough too much. One loud shout at is one shout too much. And when we speak about domestic violence, I've been around women who have been in the trenches, been chopped, shot at, bruised, battered, and beaten. However, I can take a small piece of that pie. In my former life, I had gotten beaten, bruised, spoken ill to by my now deceased daughter's father. And when you look at domestic violence, I want to say that now that I am what I am, only by the grace of God, I realize that trauma had a lot to do with it. On his side back then, it's no excuse to hit, but trauma had a lot to do with it, because when you go back to his life, a lot that he had experienced in a young age, he didn't know how to cope. So I got another woman, I believe, at the time, because he was a ladies' man, as we say, and they would have gotten some of the brunt. But I can only speak for me tonight. So I want to say to someone that may be listening for the first time, and you may be saying, yeah, you could only say that because you're out of it. There's always a choice. Now, for me, for those who know my story on Women of Culture Inc. via the World Wide Web, everyone knows that I am a woman that went to the state prison for a couple of years for wrong that I did. I left children behind back then. And that was my escape route, because even in my time of serving time, as I should say, time was serving me, because I found a lot that I needed to find in that isolation, like Joseph in prison back then. And it was there God gave me a route of escape, because he died whilst I was incarcerated. Now, you asked me, woman of God, if you came out and you were still alive, would you have gone back to him? Yes. And I want to say this to some woman or some man, because a lot of times we just zoom in to women being violated, but there are a lot of children being violated. There are a lot of men being violated. Because when we say domestic, we're speaking about the family. All right. So I want to say this to any human being that may be listening tonight and say, okay, that was your way of escape. And you say, we ask you now, if you had come out, Dr. Beckles, would you have gone back with him? Yes. When I was doing a course many years ago, when I came out of prison, I asked my counselor, is it wrong to love the person that slapped you? Is it wrong to still want to be in their presence? And they said, no, it's not. They said, what was the first thing make you go to them? It was love. You think you were in love. You fell in love with this woman or this man, or you think, XYZ, so you went that way. Love doesn't stop us from walking into mess. In fact, sometimes we think we love and we walk right into the fire, right? So for me, if he was still alive, I may have gone that route, but then I may not have been here. And it brings me to the point that sometimes we have to make strong decisions within our cognizance, be cognizant enough to know that, listen, I got to make a decision. Not everyone is going to go to prison and have a route of escape where their abuser has been put to death. God forbid. Some may have to fight it out. Some may have to hide it out. Some may have to depart it out. Some may have to pray it out, because I always tell people, now that I sit on another level in the spirituality, domestic violence is somewhat spiritual. It's a soul tie, and it's a tie to the wrong person. And that's a whole nother topic. But for those who may not know spirituality, we think it's love. We have what we call BWS, battered woman syndrome, where you feel if you don't beat me, you don't love me. And I have met men in my tenure as a minister of the gospel now that come to me privately, and if their woman don't abuse them, like speak loud to them or get on in a type of Jezebel kind of behavior, they don't think the woman loves them or is interested in them. If the woman don't call their phone 10 times, where is, where are you? Sometimes we think that's love. That's not love. I know, and we're not preaching tonight, but I always bring it back, Donna and Doc, to the spiritual aspect of things. All right. The Bible says it's always better to marry than to burn. And sex before marriage, I always say it's a very demonic thing. That is what would have led me. I can only speak for me to domestic violence, because I would have met someone, you would have fallen in love with them, whether male or female. And this is for whoever is listening, male or female. You find that physical attraction without finding yourself. So when you find yourself in somebody else, you now live in their shadow. You now engulf and engage in things that they are doing, things that they are saying, things that they are partaking in, good or evil. So I'm just starting off this by saying to someone, and I don't know, the Lord is just letting me know that it may not be a woman, maybe a man. Domestic violence is not love. It is demonic. It is terrible. It is soul ties that have been tied that is not of God. Whether you be Hindu, Muslim, Christian, whatever, it is an evil soul tie. And it is no reason to really, I would say, accept that. No type of abuse you should accept. Because while we speak about domestic violence, I can share this with you. In domestic violence, there are many other violence that take place in that, and many more abuse. There's spiritual abuse. You can't go to church. There's financial abuse, where the man or the woman don't give you what you need to get unless you sleep with them. That was not my case, but I've encountered cases like that, right? There's mental abuse. You ain't nice. No man ain't gonna want you. or no girl, or if it's a woman embarrassing a man, no woman they want you is I help you. It goes both ways. It's no longer men hurting women anymore. We gotta open our eyes because
Right.
I deal with a lot of men that come to me privately and say, Pastor, my wife is speaking to me in this manner. And from the time I hear it, I can identify that's abuse. That's
Mhm.
abuse. And to me, one night, Donna, I went to the police station, which you all call the precinct, and
Mhm.
I went with my mouth burst up, and I asked the police officer the night, "What is worse?" That time I wasn't no pastor or anything, but intuition made me ask the officer, the cop, "What is worse, verbal or physical?" This is what the cop will tell me. Physical worse because, and I looked at him and I said, wow, because while the scars had healed from my mouth and my face, my mental capacity was deteriorating
Mhm.
because I was told some things. I was said some things were said to me that was painful. And I said some things because every action have a reaction.
Right.
But if we don't deal with childhood trauma, we don't deal with trauma within our lives, whether it be childhood, adolescent, or even adult, where we are hurt and not get our soul healed, we end up abusing the very thing we think we love. I
Yes.
can say that.
Because hurt people hurt people.
That's the saying. That's the saying.
And it's interesting you brought that up because a lot of times the perpetrator, whoever that is, if you look in their past,
Yeah.
childhood, there's gonna be something. There's gonna
And
be
that's true.
some kind of trauma, some kind of neglect, abandonment that triggered and festered and developed
Yeah.
into the state. And then here you come and and yes, it becomes a soul tie where it's deep. It takes some serious, when I tell you serious prayer,
Mm-hmm.
some on the knees, different level type of prayers where people that love, that have the greatest love for you, to speak over your life and to cast that away. And then what will happen is somehow that person, it's like God makes a decision and say, out of these two people, one must survive because one has work to do and the other one must disappear. And that actually
Yeah.
happened to me
Yeah. It
with
does.
the my kid's dad. I mean, it happened where one of us had to leave for the other one to grow and do God's work. And but when you have people praying, because sometimes at that stage you don't really know how to pray for yourself, that you don't really understand it. So if you are blessed with some grandma, auntie, or somebody that's just fighting spiritually for you to get you out of that, and then and sometimes, like you said, Reverend Stacey, it's like sometimes you need that time. Not everybody has that time to actually get away for that person to, to have that
Yeah.
space.
But Donna, can I interject here? I want to say something because we're going to be moving on to life after abuse.
Right.
Life after. But I want to say this before we even enter into that realm about life after abuse, any level of abuse,
Hmm.
there must be a cognizant decision that I want change. You see, a lot of times when I was abused, whether physical or verbal, short, long, or whatever, I will want that man back because there was something tied in my soul that I believe, look, he was the best I can get. He was the handsome, the most money guy. He was. We have a kid together, but God had a greater plan. And I'm saying this to someone tonight on the platform that you may not be spiritual yet, but God has a greater plan. Now, moving along, as Donna rightfully said, and I said a while ago, everyone may not go to prison, but you will be in a prison eventually if you don't commit yourself to want to get out. Because here what? There are two ways you can get out. In a body bag or alive. And I had preferred to come out with some scars. Because we're dealing with some scars too tonight. I had preferred to come out with some scars, Doc, than to come out in a body bag.
Right.
So when God saw that I was tired in my spirit, he sent me away. At first, I thought it was like death. But, you know, I was reading my Bible one day and I heard the Bible say, it was good for me that this had happened. Because Donna just said it. She said, sometimes one have to leave. When I got the news that he was taken unalive, an officer at the time, female officer, told me sometimes, Beckles, one have to die so one could live. At the time, I'm crying still for somebody because I was planning to come out, live in my big house, and still, you know, thinking things will be better.
Right.
An abuser doesn't change unless they want to change. They can go to 10 therapy. People can talk, pray. It must be an appetite to want to change. Because most of the times, when I spoke with my deceased child father or his friends, they will tell me, you know, he never had no woman like you that going to church. And could I announce to someone, when I met him, I was going to church. I was not a minister, but I was going to church seeking for something greater. And here comes the enemy fixing up something. But my Bible tells me in Romans 8:28, all things had worked together for my good. I got a beautiful daughter. I got the opportunity to learn to forgive. I got the opportunity to know what it is to be loved and to be hate in the same breath.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm saying to someone tonight that may be in a situation where they are verbally abused, which is very prominent, where they are physically abused. You must make that cognizant decision. And if you don't know what the word cognizant means, you must make the conscious decision in your spirit. I want to be out of this. And don't pray for God's will to be your will. Because that's another thing I used to do, Doc and Donna. I used to say, Lord, change him, I love him. Lord, change him. Not my will, but your will. But in my heart, I'm hoping God's will become mine or mine become God. And God don't compromise for no man. Because God had a greater plan for my life. So moving right along, as we celebrate a month of healing and victories in the month of October 16th, to be precise, on Thursday, you know, and I look back at my life, Donna, and to the audience that is listening now and those that will come on to listen later on, I say, Lord, thank you. Thank you that what I prayed for you didn't give me to change him, because the physical may have stopped, but the verbal may have continued, and the mental capacity that I have would have been less to naught. Mm-hmm. But as I continue to grow, and I want to say to some woman tonight, I want to zoom in on the woman. I'll come back to you guys. There is hope. You're looking at living proof. You are looking at a living proof. Woman that was spoken ill to, beaten, embarrassed, cheated on, lied on, manipulated, lied to, locked away, confined for a season. But there is hope after abuse, after domestic violence. Woman of God, how is there hope after he has cut me? He has cut me both physical and spiritual. After he has shot me in the leg. After he has burnt me with acid or oil. There is hope. Because here why? There is a great deliverer. I want to tell you tonight, whether you choose Allah, Buddha, Krishna, Selassie, Jesus the Christ, there is a hope after domestic violence. But you must lean. You must search yourself first. I had to search myself. Because here why? When I came out of the penitentiary, he was dead, but there were other abusers still looking around to date me. So even if you get out of this paradigm that you're in now and you make a paradigm shift, man or woman that is listening to me, you must be conscious that I will not go back down the same road.
Right.
There's a song that I heard one time by Whitney Houston and Deborah Cox. Same script, just different cast.
Right.
There is a spirit, so you're going to attract what you are.
Mm-hmm.
For me to be the woman that I am today, Prophet Reverend Dr. Stacey and Beckles came with a cost. It came with a cost. And I'm not talking about going to prison. That was part of the process. But it came with a cost by making right choices as to who I date, when I date, if I even date, because I first got to love me. And loving you may mean you have to stay by yourself for a season to find you.
Yes. That's so true. And one thing that we must remember, the most beautiful, beautiful blessings can come out of bad relationships.
Yeah.
The most beautiful. So you have to look at everything as there was something you also we have to work on ourselves. We have to learn to love ourselves, men and women, right? And raise that level. Understand that we are temples, we are vessels, because there is also something that a signal that we give off to spiritually to connect. And some women keep going back to the same, or men to the same type of person, just a different name. So we have to look into ourselves and work on that level, that spiritual level, to raise that love. And then as we raise that love of self, we begin to attract and meet different people. So people meet us on the level of love that we have for ourselves.
Yeah,
And
I
it's like
agree
they can
totally.
smell it, they can spot it, especially when you're younger, because then you can be, manipulated. So as we do the work, connect with God and do that inner work, it sheds. And it's like you become a butterfly and you just start to love on yourself more. And then, yeah, you're going to start to meet different people because you're no longer that person. That person's gone.
It's
And
like
so,
magnet and steel.
yeah,
You attract
yeah,
what you are.
yes,
The law of attraction.
yes.
You attract what you are. You may
Mhm.
say, but I don't attract drug lords. But something in you, like men that are territorial.
Right.
I I don't like men who drink, but every week you want to have a glass of wine.
Hmm.
The spirit world is more real than the physical. So
Yeah.
as we continue to look at life after domestic violence, I can say for me, it is victorious. Woman of God, how is it victorious? Is it because you found Jesus? No. I know women that are in the body of Christ that are being abused daily. I know men that are men of God and are being abused daily because they will take the abuse to look good in the front of the church to say, we are married. But there is abuse, whether verbal, financial, spiritual, economical, whatever, right? To look good. And that's why I believe what the Bible says, unequally yoked cannot serve God.
Right.
Right? And for me, life now is beautiful. Here why? Because I have made the decision, Doc and Donna, and the worldwide web that is listening, to find me.
Mhm.
Find me in God. Who am I in the one that has created me? I am not what Donna says I am. I am not what Doc says I am. I am not what people say I am. I'm not what I thought I was, but I am what I am by the grace of God. All
Right.
right. So I'm saying this to someone that may feel there is no hope. I don't care if you have one eye, there is hope. If you have one hand, there is hope. Once you have air in your lungs, there is a beautiful life after. The Bible tells us your latter will be greater than your former. So I want to announce to someone that may be going through something tonight, you will come out, but you must want out. You must want out by any means necessary.
Yeah.
that will not harm your future. You must be cognizant enough to find a source that is spiritual, greater than yourself.
Right.
And thirdly, you must see yourself in the end as victorious. Because from the time you start to see yourself, he gonna kill me, he gonna kill me. Words have power. Life and death is in the tongue. Those that love the fruit, eat it.
Yeah.
So you must not see yourself, he gonna kill me and them children. What we say is what we will have. Believe it or not. And don't try to be comical and say, but I asked for $1 million. I asked for a house and I didn't get it. You got the $1 million. Check how much money was given to you over a period of time.
Right.
So life after domestic violence depends on the choices you make, how you make it, when you make it, and why you're making it. The why you make it, how you make it, and when you make it. Make it now. Make it for you. And make it with a cognizant mindset that I will live and not die. Not just for your children if you have kids, but for yourself to fulfill your purpose. Your purpose may not be to preach like Dr. Beckles. Your purpose may not be to be a motivational speaker like Donna or I or Doc. But your purpose may be simply to live and testify, I was once a victim, now victorious.
Amen.
And don't talk victory, walk victory. Don't say that you're striving. You are thriving after. And don't ever be ashamed of your story, man, woman, or child that is listening to me tonight. You have a story because there's a testimony. When I dress up in my fancy frock and my tall heels and my big earrings and I jump out my van, people say, wow, that's a beautiful woman. But when they hear the story, now they understand the glory. They say, okay, wow, and wow, because it took something in me, Donna, to not go back to my vomit. Not to go back to a man that looked good, smelled good, really feeling good, but was sinful. And that have nothing to do with being a woman of the clergy. It had to do with me wanting more than just sweet talks and a slap on the back.
Right.
So there is hope after domestic violence. For some, there is no hope. Let's go down that road. For some, there is no hope because the enemy has tricked them. If you leave this person, no one will want you. That's a lie from the pit of hell. There's a shortage of men in the world.
Yeah.
And there's a shortage of good women as ourselves. So you will always be needed. And you are needed for your family if you don't have children. And you're needed for your children if you have children tonight, man or woman. But there may not be hope for you because you have seen yourself as less. Your self-esteem, Donna said something tonight. The level of frequency you give is what you will attract. A 110 power surge cannot run a 220 machine.
No.
You have what you think, and what you're dealing with is how you thought. Everything you're facing in your life is things you have premeditated in your mind, so it's coming to manifestation, the law of attraction.
Yes.
I never wanted to go back to hearing certain words said to me, because ever so often, I never used to smile, Doc. When I smile like this. My sister had to teach me, smile with your eyes. I smile like this because one day I told someone there is no reason to really smile, you know. I have life and breath air in my lungs, but I'm telling somebody there's no reason to smile. How ungrateful was I? I was eating poorly. When you are under a curse, because domestic violence is a curse, you eat poorly. Now, life after domestic violence, I eat well. Because my mind is at peace.
Right.
Because I've made the right decision who I date, if I even date, which I don't. I live a life full to the clergy in this season and seasons before and seasons to come until God says otherwise. Because you cannot date if you do not know yourself. Because you'll be looking for yourself in every vessel, every woman or every man.
Yes.
So there is hope. But for those who believe there is no hope, there is no good life, I should say, after domestic violence, that's up to you. That's up to you.
It's up to you.
When people give you help, people gave me help. God gave me help. My help was prison. What is your help tonight? Who was praying for you? Who told you they will give you a place to stay with the children, but yet you study the kids was crying? What will be worse? The kids crying that you left their mother or their father, or the kids crying that you're being buried tomorrow? We gotta get serious.
Yeah.
But
It's a
there
it's
is
a
a blessed
mental
hope.
stronghold also. So that's what we're fighting against too, and that's why we see men and women will come back. It's a stronghold.
Yeah.
You
Yes, it is.
so it takes a lot from people that love you, yourself, to even to really go to work for you. But you have to start with yourself, and you have to start pouring into yourself and watering yourself. And as you water, because you are a beautiful flower, and as you water, you will no longer be wilted. So you'll start to strengthen up, and you'll start to realize and say, like, wait, I don't like the way this person, you start to like come out of the fog, because you start to water you and realize that you are better or more than what this person is saying to you. But you have to come out of the fog.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
then seek help, ask for prayers, but not just random prayers. Ask for it, because it's a spiritual warfare that it's upon you and upon your family. You got to go to work. There's work that you have to do also, forgiveness, generational, there's a whole level of work that we have to do. And it can't be once a week. It needs to be daily. Throughout the day, you need to be speaking life all over yourself, over your situation, and even asking forgiveness for that person that's abusing you, and asking for them to be healed from whatever it is that they're basically controlling them at this point. So
And that is so true.
yes, it's a battle. It's a spiritual warfare, and sometimes it's passed on generational. So you have to do the work to break that cycle. It can be broken, and we just pray, and we hope that you found some kind of encouragement, something to just snap you out a little bit, to say, yeah, there's hope, and I'm gonna reach out. But continue, don't leave out the prayer.
Mm.
It's not just about the
Absolutely.
physical. You gotta pray for the person, and that's not always easy to do. But you're praying for that person to heal, and that person to also see. But you're praying for yourself and your protection for yourself, your family, those your loved ones, etc. Um, but that's the best route to at least start right now. Where if you're stuck, start with the prayers. I was doing forgiveness journaling. I asked forgiveness on behalf of not my parents, my husband, my children, future generations, and also the father of my children. And so that anything can be broken. You want to break any ties that way too. So you have to pray for it's not always the easiest thing to do, to pray for someone that's hurt you, but you must do it so that
Uh,
you can be released from that
yeah.
stronghold.
And Donna, could I just say this to the listening audience? I have met women and men, and I'm emphasizing on men because in Trinidad and Tobago, men are abused. I can't speak for any other country, but there's a sort of cliche that if a man is abused, he's not a real man. That's a lie from the pit of hell,
Mhm.
right? However, um, sometimes we sabotage our own life after domestic violence, our own happy ending. because we are delivered from the person. Sometimes the person who abuses us leave us after they have hurt us, they try to destroy us. They leave and move on to their next victim, whether male or female. But we keep self-sabotaging, so our end is never good. We keep going back to the same men, or we keep talking negatively about ourselves, remembering what was verbally said to us in our verbal abuse. I want to encourage someone tonight. You are not what they have said. You are not what you think of yourself unless it is good. You are what God says about you, whether you're a man or a woman. You are God's beloved. You are God's chosen. You are God's best. And you will make it for the sake of your life and the life of your children if you have any viewing tonight. And you will live, but you must want to live and have a great life. You could, life after domestic violence, once you make the right decision and stick to the decision to be healed. Don't leave us. And I'm going to say this again. I'm going to reiterate my statement again. Don't leave to go back. Don't say the kids were crying or she or he came back. A leper does not change his spots. And someone once told me, Doc and Donna, could you change a 5 cent? That's copper in our country. You can't change a 5 cent. A cent is a cent. All right, you could shine it, polish it, but it will always remain a cent.
Right.
So you have to know what you're dealing with. For me, I can tell the diaspora tonight, the World Wide Web, Women of Culture Inc., Women of Transformation followers, and all those who may be listening quietly, the seen and the unseen guests, that for me, life after domestic violence is a blessing. It's a blessed hope. I've been healed mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually. My soul has been restored. And when you're healed, you will know, you will speak the truth and it will set others free.
Yes.
It will set them free. It's not an easy journey. Ever so often I still cry. We want to be real tonight. Ever so often I look at my daughter and I say, wow, I miss your father, because he was a good man. But when you look at his bloodline and the traces and the trauma, he too had a past. That the only masculine way was to curse or to use foul language or to hit, to get power. He didn't know about communication. That's a whole nother topic. All right. He was afraid of losing what he believed was great, but didn't know how to keep it. And when you cannot keep something, it leaves. So life after domestic violence for Prophet Reverend Dr. Beckles is good. It is good. I'm in a good place, more so mentally, physically, and above all, spiritually. Because when I open my mouth, I speak from a healed place.
Yes.
I don't speak of a place of regret. I don't speak from a place of resentment. I don't speak from a place of pride. I don't speak from a place of haughtiness, but I speak from a place of wholeness.
Yes.
I'm whole. I'm whole because I've chosen to be whole and to partake in the things that make me whole, which is reading, praying, loving the unlovable at times. Forgiving is key. Donna said it tonight. She jumped the gun, but I was about to hit it. You got to forgive them, even though they may be dead, because the dead can still harm the living. Forgive. I still say, Lord, I wish I could have turned back the hands of time, but God had a greater plan, and it's a good plan. And I want to zoom in tonight to the audience. Man, woman, or child that may be adolescent tuning into this and your abuse. Abuse is not love. It is not the only method of love. In fact, it is not a method at all. It is not a method of love at all. It is a method of destruction, disaster waiting to happen. If you cannot love you enough to stay by yourself, you cannot love anyone else. And you cannot accept anyone's love or give love if you do not know love.
Right.
And I like to end with this scripture, John 3:16. For God so loved that he gave his only begotten son. What are you giving to that person to tell me that you love them? I'm not talking about a house, a car, and your last name. I'm talking about respect, forgiveness, kindness, understanding, self control,
Mhm.
and that of
Yes.
a little bit of compromise. Because we got to compromise sometime. To
Mhm.
when you love someone, you compromise. Sometimes your husband have to let you go and do something because that's my wife. She's into talking. She's a realtor. That's my
Mhm.
husband. He's into insurance. He got to talk. We have to
Mhm.
compromise, but a
Of
good
course.
compromise, not one to hurt.
Yes.
So I want to tell you tonight, as we wrap up, as I wrap up, there is a great life after domestic violence
Mhm.
where you don't have to be a voice to nations, but you could be a voice to yourself first and
Right.
to those that surround you in your community, saving one life at a time. Take no glory, but just know, Lord, I thank you that this is one woman less from the morgue, one child less raped or abused, one man less ridiculed and demasculate. Because some women like to demasculate men because they may be working for more. That's a whole nother topic. But let us really glean and tap in to what is really healing. And when we find that fruit, that tree of healing, that tree of life, healing, then we know we have had the victory. Life after domestic violence
Yes.
can be good and it can be bad. The choice is yours. Good night.
Wonderful. 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 Um, Reverend Stacey, tell us about your Facebook page.
Our Facebook page is Women of Transformation, Trinidad and Tobago. Or you can just look for my Facebook page because I have a little technology. Whilst I'm a good preacher and speaker, all glory to God, I'm not a good technology woman like Dr. Donna or Sister Donna or
No,
Doctor here.
the
But
girl.
you can find me at Stacey Beckles, Stacey and Beckles, you'll see Prophet Doctor. And the pages link intertwine. And of course, the ministry, Tabernacle of Restoration and Holiness Ministry International. You can find Women of Transformation tied in there. Because we're in the restoring business, restoring and transforming lives, one life at a time with the gospel.
Yes, and we want to encourage people. Earlier, as Reverend Stacy was just repeating, start to repeat things to yourself. I am love, I am peace, I am blessed. Just walk around silently speaking to yourself. That's how we water. We water ourselves. I'm a channel of love, of light. I'm a channel of health, wealth, blessings. You have to pour into yourself. That pouring in on a daily basis, wherever you are, you can do it silently so no one is even hearing you. And you're pouring in and watering yourself and watering yourself. That is how you snap out of the darkness. You have to do it first, where you're watering yourself. And again, the apology, asking for forgiveness is important. If you, especially if you have children, you want to ask for, for forgiveness on behalf of that person and their ancestors, like the bloodline, and for the future generations from the children. So you want to protect them that way too, right? One thing that I usually have that's really easy is I will tell people, I will say to myself throughout the day, I love me, I love you, I forgive me, I forgive you, I bless me, and I bless you. And
Yeah.
that's covering any and everybody. And you
Yeah.
say that throughout the day, say it throughout the day. And this is a type of work, that spiritual work, that you have to get out of the fog, get out of the fog slowly, where you start to reclaim and remember who and whose you are.
Yeah.
Remember, if people come and take you out of the situation, if you're not ready, you're going to go right back. So it has to first begin with you understanding your worth to say, no, this is no, I no longer accept this. All right. So follow me on Facebook or IG at Inner Vibes with a Z Consultant or Women of Culture INC. We do a lot of work on Slay, speak life about you, because that is how you water yourself. Water yourself. We have to learn to believe good about ourselves. Okay, so we want to wish everyone love and light, blessings. Dr. Arlene, last words?
I just want to thank you again, Donna, for this forum. And what can I tell you, Dr. Stacey and Beckles? I know you came on a few times before and we had talked about abuse, but this evening I could truly say, the platform was aflame with words, not just in general, but coming from a deep place, this our spirituality and how important that plays in our lives. And there were so many concepts that were touched on tonight. It's just amazing. I liked everything that was said, but one thing that jumped out at me, you quoted John 3, verse 16, and then for you started also, you didn't say it, but you went into Galatians 5:22 as you were speaking about the love, the kindness, the self-control, and all of that. And all those two linked up so beautifully. I said, God, it's really powerful. And yes, Donna, it's important to water yourself. Water yourself with the word. And it really helps. And I did like, when you spoke about releasing self from the stronghold. It's really powerful. And I know that this evening's message, anyone listening on and find themselves in those broken places, as Donna says, it's time to get out of the fog. Yes, sometimes we, like the children of Israel, going around the same mountain, around and around. When are we going to get released? And it was truly powerful tonight. I'm telling you, truly, truly powerful. Thank you so much. It's not that I don't know about not me abuse, but my church, and we do abuse prevention emphasis month every year. For we do it in August. Our church is where we come from. But I'm telling you, this one truly touched a nerve that makes it so clear and so powerful of how we can help ourselves to be victorious. We got the key to our victory, not by ourselves, but through Christ. So thank you again, Dr. Prophet Stacey and Beckles. You did it tonight. Thank you, Donna. You also brought in, many concepts that are very important for women and men who are listening. You too can be victorious. So thank you, thank you, thank you.
As we wrap up, I think it's just because sometimes we leave out that spiritual stronghold part.
Yes.
And so we have to understand, we have to go to root causes.
Yes.
Because someone can physically go into the house and remove that person. And that person will go right back to the situation. So it's a stronghold mentally. And until it's a tie, and until you work on that tie, you can keep coming to get the person, coming to get them. So we have to understand that.
One more thing. I mean, spirituality was big tonight. And as I listened to Dr. Stacey, one scripture passage spoke about tearing down strongholds. And tonight, this is it.
Yeah.
Tearing down strongholds. God can help us to take us back from out of that prison. But we have to help ourselves, like you said, Donna, help to tear down some of those strongholds. And that forgiveness is huge. Huge, huge, huge.
We could do the same thing for our children that's battling whatever it is.
Yeah.
The whole nother topic, Reverend Stacey and I, we share a chat together for years, and we have very interesting and the growth is just
Yeah,
amazing. We
amazing.
learn from each other.
Yeah,
So, all right, everyone. So thank you all for
thank you
listening.
again.
We are here. If you have questions, just buzz, message. May God bless you and guide you and protect you on your journey, your entire family, your work, every area that's associated with you. May God bless you. Until next time. Good night.
Thank you, Dr. Stacey. You're
Same
growing,
to you, Doc. Thank you,
growing,
Donna.
growing. Thank you, Donna.
Good night.
Good night.
Bye.
Bye-bye.